Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. I am still absolutely buzzing from Chelsea's incredible win away at West Ham yesterday. And in today's video, we have got 8 things that you might have missed from this victory. There are some incredible statistics that I wasn't aware of, that I'm now aware of, that I'm going to share with you. We're going to delve deeper into the big talking points of this game. Chelsea Football Club, I said it in the 6 Things We Learned video yesterday. I genuinely feel as though we are back. We're going to dissect the Nicholas Jackson post-match interview, the Enzo Maresca post-match interview, and then we're going to blow your mind a little bit. We're going to start delving into the facts about just how good Chelsea were. Take a deeper look at some individual performances and hopefully get you guys just as gassed as me because we got Barrow on Tuesday night. Good old Will Barrow in the League Cup. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm not going to lie to you guys. I am absolutely buzzing. I feel as though that result against West Ham, for me, it's above the Wolves win. I think the Wolves win is like the first big one of the season, and you're looking at that and you're like, blimey, Chelsea scored 6 goals. We got a hat-trick for Noni Madueke, but it was like so many extra pieces of what we look at as like the Chelsea jigsaw came into play. They came into full effect in this match, and we begin by taking a look at Nicholas Jackson's post-match comments. I like playing against any opponent when I'm helping the team, Jackson said after the win yesterday. That's the most important thing for me, contributing to the team, and as long as I'm doing that, then it doesn't matter about who we are playing against. It was a perfect day for me, really, scoring 2 goals and helping the team win a big London derby. I'm very happy. I think everybody thought I would pass to Cole or Noni, who were both in good positions, but I saw that the space was opening up for me, so I drove at goal and managed to score. Our 2-goal hitman added. I was happy with that goal, but also the timing of it. Being so early in the game, it meant we could control things, and I think we did that. Now, one of the biggest differences that we have seen under Enzo Maresca compared to Maurizio Pochettino, and I know it's not like necessary every time to praise Maresca and then by default put Pochettino down, but the truth of the matter is, guys, in the opening 5 matches of this season, something that we have seen in virtually all of the games, apart from maybe the first half against Bournemouth where we were quite slow out the block, it looks as though Chelsea are willing to start the halves with intensity, with energy. So many times was this naivety under Pochettino where we kind of had like an arrogance that wasn't backed up with any kind of tangible stability, and we go out at the start of second halves and we think that we're in control. We think that the goal was going to come. And due to that, I'd say tactical ineptitude, I think might be a fair way to explain it. I think last season we got caught out at the beginning of halves way too often, and then we'd be chasing games. And then teams would sit back. But Chelsea are commanding. We're controlling because we're starting the game so quickly. And Nicholas Jackson yesterday, we spoke about him in the 6 Things We Learned, but I want to keep talking here about Nicholas Jackson at the start of this video today, because this was a match where I genuinely believe that Christopher Nkunku had played his way into the starting 11. And what we're seeing so far with Enzo Maresca is that he's calling Nicholas Jackson his number 9 in his pre-match press conference. He's giving Nicholas Jackson the public backing, and at the same time, what is very, very impressive so early on here at Chelsea from Maresca is we know that there's a lot of attacking players. He's identified already in the pre-match presser who the left wingers are, who the number 9s are, and who the right wingers are, and he's getting a tune out of every single part of that attacking trio of positions. Every single one of the left wing, the strikers, the right wing, in all of these matches that we're winning, everyone's showing up. Whether it is the right wing away at Wolves where Noni Madueke steals the show, whether it's Nicholas Jackson, the number 9, stealing the show, whether it was Jadon Sancho stealing the show at Bournemouth. Every single attacking position for this Chelsea team right now is delivering. And I think last season, under Pochettino, one of the key things that we just didn't do was have the confidence to be able to go out at the start of matches, at the start of second halves, and adapt and change. And I think what has been absolutely magnificent from Maresca so far isn't only the results. And he says here, the results and the points are always important in our business. But the main thing for me in this moment is to see how we progress as a team. And I'm going to let this bubble with you guys a little bit here, because when I read this, I'm like, hang on a second, right? I absolutely like it when a manager has got he comes out and he's willing to talk about tactics. He's willing to talk about shape. And if we look at these comments here from Enzo Maresca, today's performance from Nicholas and Cole was top. Not only because they scored, but we prepared the game for 3 versus 2 when West Ham were in possession, because they build with 3 players and we accepted that. So the way they worked off the ball was top. If we understand that we need that, the behaviour and the desire, then we can build something important. And I'm telling you now, right? The way that Maresca does the pre-match presses, apart from these little comments here and there about, yeah, I've not been told to get top 4, these comments can be swept under the rug, in my eyes, if Chelsea is still winning. And when you look here at the way that Chelsea have conducted themselves, in particularly these opening 3 away wins in a row, Chelsea are approaching each team that we're playing based on the way that that team is going to play. And with that, we are providing answers tactically straight away. One of my biggest concerns when Enzo Maresca took over, and especially being on the ground in America during pre-season, I'm like, I don't know if the players are going to be able to get this. I don't know if the players are going to be able to have the confidence and quality to play out from the back. And to have got 10 points and have won every single one of our away games so far this season is absolutely fantastic. And I think if you look at this Chelsea team right now, and if we're going to go into player performances, we're going to talk a little bit more about why yesterday was such a successful day for us, because it isn't just beating West Ham, London derby, against your rivals, early kickoff. It isn't just about scoring 3 goals and what that 3 points is. What we saw yesterday, guys, and this is why I am so flipping excited now for this season. What we saw yesterday was every single man on the pitch understanding their role. We saw substitutes coming on, consolidating what we have, adding new impetus to certain areas across the field. And Chelsea are going to be one of those teams that even the big sides in the Premier League are going to be like, we're not going to be sure how to line up against these guys, because are Chelsea going to come and try and play their way? Or is it about countering what Enzo Maresca and the Chelsea staff right now can see and know is coming from the opposition? So I absolutely love all of these comments here from Maresca, because he's not frightened to explain what we did, because it will change next week as well. We're playing against Brighton next week, and best believe we're going to be approaching that Brighton game thinking about what Brighton are going to be doing. Not just taking the positives of what we've done so well at West Ham, but it's going to be focused on Brighton. So we move now away from the post-match press conference comments, and I've got to show you guys some absolutely insane statistics here. The first one that we are going to go through is that Chelsea have lost only 2 of our last 20 games in the Premier League. And both of those 2 losses are against the top 2 best sides in the league right now. A 5-0 loss last season away at Arsenal. Pochettino, lots of people said he should have been fired straight after that game. And obviously the defeat to Manchester City at the beginning of this season. That is actually insane. It's only really been since pre-season that I've been very positive. Yes, I was very happy at the end of last season. Yes, I was disappointed that Pochettino was sacked. But yes, also, I had a lot of questions about Maresca. I wasn't sure that he was going to be the right man. And I'm telling you now, and this isn't just blind faith, I've seen more than enough from Chelsea so far this season, even with Gusto injured, James injured. We're going to go on to the player performances, and this will vindicate and validate everything even more. What we are seeing is a team. It is so nice to look at all of the social media videos, see everyone laughing, see everyone smiling, and it's backed up with what we're doing on the field. Last season, I think it was so insensitive at times, the social media posts from Chelsea, because what we saw on the pitch was absolute rubbish. This season, we got 10 points, we're in the top 4, we've won 3 away matches in a row. Enzo Maresca, the first manager to do that as a new manager in the Premier League since, yes, you guessed it, Pep Guardiola. So, as much as I'm not going to get too carried away from that, to have only lost 2 of the last 20 games is an absolute credit to where this squad are at. We're an incredibly young squad, yes, and I'm more than happy to sit here and talk about it when we're winning, because that is what makes it bubble. That is what makes it exciting even more, because these players aren't going to suddenly just get worse as footballers. The more we start to train, the more we start to play, the more we learn, the better we're going to get. And I think that is why at the moment, a lot of people are coming out and talking about Chelsea and they're like, oh, hang about, these, they got some good players here, you know. Last week we're saying, well, Nicholas Jackson isn't a good finisher. What does he go and do this week? You know, Chelsea are answering every single on-the-field critic right now. And what I said when we had this news about civil war, Todd Boehly versus Bedad Egbali, they're both at the game yesterday, drinking a Bovril, having a cup of tea. I don't know what the hot beverage of choice was, but they're there together. All of a sudden, guys, we are seriously looking up. The next thing that we are going to look at here is this incredible statistic. Duos to combine for the most goals since the start of last season. Cole Palmer and Nicholas Jackson with 10. Leon Bailey and Ollie Watkins there with 8. You've got Elanga and Chris Wood with 7. The list goes down. But Cole Palmer and Nicholas Jackson. Last week, or after the Wolves game, I was talking to you about the partnership of Cole Palmer and Noni Madueke. But this is a stat that you can't deny, ladies and gentlemen. The combination of Cole Palmer and Nicholas Jackson when it comes to scoring goals is absolutely brilliant. And I think what we're starting to really learn here about this Chelsea team is that Maresca can see the partnerships that were already there under Pochettino. Yes, you've got Nkunku who's fit now and wants to play. Yes, he probably deserves to play. But at the end of the day, this competition that we have in all areas of that front line, even the midfield and at the back that we're going to go to a bit later on in this video, there is so much healthy competition right now. And the partnerships that we're starting to see on the field, the second goal that we scored yesterday, what an amazing team goal that is. I'm absolutely loving, reveling in this victory. We move onto the statistics about Moises Caicedo yesterday. No player has won more duels in a Premier League game this season than Moises Caicedo versus West Ham. 13. He also made 8 tackles, the joint most by a Chelsea player in a Premier League game since Marcos Alonso in March 2019, where he got 9. A Kante-like performance, they've said. When people stop talking about the price tag, then it shows how good Caicedo has been. Now, I'm going to hold my hands up again. I made a video about midway through the second half of last season, and I was talking about Declan Rice and Moises Caicedo. And ever since I made that video, I have looked like an absolute fool. Because ever since I made that video, Caicedo has been virtually flawless in a Chelsea shirt. And I think when you look at the difference between playing West Ham at the start of last season and getting battered, and Caicedo was the worst player on the field, this season we've battered them. Caicedo, the £100 million man, is the best player on the pitch. You cannot underestimate just how important this is. There were many times at the start of last season where I looked at Caicedo and I was just like, is this guy actually going to be what he was at Brighton? Or is it simply that Brighton were just so good and so structured with what they did that Caicedo looked great? And bloody hell is that not the case, because Chelsea knew what we were doing. And yeah, I hold my hands up. And maybe there were times last year where I didn't see what we're seeing now. And I wasn't sure it was going to come. Caicedo, absolutely sensational. And as we go and talk on later in this video about the centre-backs and the defence again and the goalkeeper again, Chelsea right now are starting to create a spine, guys. How many times have you sat here on GBFC and I'm sitting here talking to you and saying, well, check Terry, Lampard, Drogba. We need to find that again. Will we find that again? And it is unfolding before our very eyes. And if you guys aren't still excited, then I don't know. At this point, like, you just want Chelsea to lose. Like, you've got to get excited now when you start to see the partnerships that are flourishing, when you start to see the levels of the individual performances that we're seeing. Caicedo, absolutely magnificent in that game yesterday. Nicholas Jackson has more non-penalty goals, 18, than Salah, Son, Isak, Solanke and Saka in the Premier League since joining Chelsea. Now, it's very easy, and I've done it as well. I criticise Jackson when he misses big chances. Sometimes I slaughter him because I'm like, what are you doing? Where did that come from? Why have you not scored? Why haven't we won the match? But to be quite honest, if you bring it back to this partnership between Palmer, Jackson, the amount of goals that they have done together, and you look at this number from Nicholas Jackson, and it's like, when he's delivering like that, and again, I think the nature of what I want this video to portray is that things are great right now, and we should celebrate it. We should get gassed. We should get excited. Not get carried away. Maybe get a little bit carried away. It's Sunday. I got a cup of tea here. I hope you do as well. But Nicholas Jackson, like, he's 23 years old. And as you can see here on this caption, still only 23, Jackson is improving at a very promising rate. His work rate on and off the ball, combined with his willingness to keep improving, is what makes him one of the best under-23 strikers in the world right now. An absolute bargain at just £32 million. And you know what? I absolutely agree. I think when you think about the way that Nicholas Jackson is putting up these kind of numbers, beating some of the best recognised players in the world, like, it's absolutely incredible what this man has done. Speaking of which, we cannot go through this video without having a serious talk about Cole Palmer. I said it yesterday. I put it on Twitter. I think the most amazing thing that we're seeing here from Palmer is that he didn't just have a fluke last season. Cole Palmer didn't just be the best player in the Premier League when it comes to goal contributions, more than Erling Haaland. Cole Palmer is a generational footballing talent. It gets thrown around a lot, but this guy is it. If you take a look yesterday at the top stats, the foot mob rating 7.9, played 64 minutes. Again, credit to Maresca. The game's won. Rest him because we need him. We know he's that important. 1 goal, 2 shots. And what I loved about this performance from Palmer is that you can see from minute number 1, we saw it against Bournemouth. We've seen it again here against West Ham. Cole Palmer is being marked out the game. There are 2 players constantly looking at him, constantly following him. And what does Palmer do? He does exactly what Eden Hazard used to do. He glides around the field. He waits and gets into the areas where he's not really expected or isn't supposedly so threatening. And then at the start of the second half yesterday, West Ham are asleep. So what does Palmer do? Gets in on goal and scores a goal within 3 minutes of the restart. Absolutely brilliant. And this is the evolution of Cole Palmer. This is what makes him go from being a 1 season, very good, best player in the country, to becoming a world star on a regular basis, respected by everyone. Because I genuinely think there's a lot of people out there that still look at him and just be like, well, you know, Chelsea spent loads of money, like, he's probably, yeah, he's good, but he wouldn't get in the City side. Look, Man City will be knocking on the door for this guy because Kevin De Bruyne is not going to be around for long. And this guy is Kevin De Bruyne. In a few years' time, we're going to be talking about the same numbers. We're going to be talking about the same level. And I really, really hope for Chelsea Football Club that Cole Palmer is the cornerstone of everything that we build. Every single thing that we do should be about this guy. He really is that good. I think Cole Palmer is one of the best players we have seen at Chelsea in the last decade. I think he's absolutely sensational. And now that he understands that he's basically got a target on his back. Every time he steps up in the Premier League, there are going to be teams, players, everyone's out to get him because they know they've got to stop him. Because if you stop Palmer, you stop Chelsea, right? Not anymore, ladies and gentlemen, because we have got players turning up all over the field. And I want to talk to you now about Tosin, because I genuinely feel as though I've not really given him as much time of day as I should, because he was absolutely fantastic yesterday again. Wesley Fofana moves over to right back. But if you look at these stats here, 90 minutes played from Tosin. It's another clean sheet when he's on the field. 89% accurate passing. What I love about what Tosin does is when he's got the ball, there's no faffing around with it. And I think at the start of this season, pre-season as well, you're looking at the way Chelsea concede goals. Maresca's clearly seen here. We don't need to have defenders that are just like pottering around on the ball like, oh, there you go. Levi Colwill's going on mazy runs as if he's driving the Hogwarts Express. Tosin is there every time he's got the ball. He's looking up, release it. Looking up, release it. Pop it here, pop it there, pop it everywhere. I absolutely love it. I genuinely think right now there is a serious claim to be had that maybe Tosin and Colwill is the strongest partnership right now. Maybe Wesley Fofana steps out when Gusto and James come back. But Wesley Fofana was also decent yesterday in that right-back position. Only played 57 minutes. Disasi came on afterwards. I don't want Disasi at right-back, but I also don't think Wesley Fofana is also that dedicated right-back too. If we also go through here and look at these FootMob ratings for Sanchez, 8.8 again, 90 minutes played, 7 saves. Goals prevented, 0.82. Look, Sanchez, again, when I'm talking about what Chelsea are doing differently, when we're talking about gaining momentum, what we needed to do and what I wanted to see at the start of this season that we've seen, which is why I can sit here with so much gusto in my voice and excitement, is because every position is delivering. This isn't just about Cole Palmer showing up and getting Chelsea out of jail. Chelsea are winning by blowing teams away. We're winning ugly, and we're also dominating matches against teams that we have struggled against over the years. West Ham has been a ground that we don't like going to, and we absolutely blew them away yesterday. I think every single player right now in this Chelsea team is understanding their role. Look at these stats from Levi Colwill. 1 block, 8 clearances, 4 headed clearances, 1 interception, 11 defensive actions, 3 recoveries. Like, Levi Colwill playing at centre-back. How good is it to see a player playing in their right position and delivering? Honestly, like, I cannot stress to you enough. Mark Cucurella. Like, is there, right now, answer me this question. Let me know in the comments below. Is there a better fullback who is better at inverting into that midfield right now in world football than Mark Cucurella? A man who, again, last season, isolated. I looked at Cucurella and I was like, well, if we do sell him, I'm not that bothered because I don't think he's very good. I've been proven wrong on so many levels. And I think when I look back to how I felt when Pochettino was sacked, right? And I want to wrap this video up with this here today, because when Poch was sacked, I was upset. It took me a while to get used to the fact that I like Pochettino. To win all those games in a row, I was like, yeah, I want this guy to stay. When we bought in Enzo Maresca, I was like, do the club really know what they're doing here? And now, like, yes, it's 5 games. Yes, we've only won 3 out of 3 away from home, and we still haven't won at Stamford Bridge yet. But, like, if you're not excited about what you're seeing right now and you can't see that what Maresca is teaching these players to do is working immediately, the way that the togetherness in this team is showing on the field right now, despite the drama that's been going on off the pitch, like, I'm so proud of this team. And I wanted to make this video today to keep building this momentum and energy, because I've seen so much negativity about our club. Rightly so, definitely fair with a lot of it in recent times. But when we keep winning and playing like that on the field, best believe I'm here to talk about the football. And I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves today. Make sure you're subscribed to the George Benson football channel. I'll see you guys next time. Come on, you Blues.